Hello everyone, I'm Renown Zero. We are back again talking about how the Rippaverse has now dropped for pre-order an ISOM statue from Iron Studios. That's right. An announcement was put up last night that said around 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, which would be 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that there would be an announcement coming out of the Rippaverse, and it seems that the announcement was an ISOM statue from Iron Studios based around cover D of ISOM number 2. Now, of course, we're going to have the usual people who are going to sit there coping and seething, and we're going to talk about that stuff. We're going to talk about some stuff going on with this. As usual, the Horseman, Welcome to Florespark, is still up for pre-order for another 26 days. I'm looking forward to it. It's written by Chuck Dixon and penciled by Joe Bennett. It's looking at almost 11,000 books, $650,000 as usual, as I always say. These numbers don't update right away. It's the one thing I still don't like about the new site. But it's interesting that this is what he has dropped right here, the ISOM statue, and you can of course get a bundle with the ISOM logo shirt, and of course you get ISOM 2. It's actually a good deal considering this is $275, the book is $25, and the shirt's I think $30. So you basically get you basically get the shirt for free if you look at it that way. And according to this, 48 statues have already been taken, and 500 are available, just a little over 12 inches tall, at $275 for the statue, making $14,000, almost $15,000. Now, as someone who owns items from Iron Studios, I think the quality of Iron Studios is very well done. I own 3 Thundercats, the Thundercats people, the heroes, and I own I own 2 of the villains. So it's interesting to me that people would try to bring this whole thing up about, oh, the Yara statue is a ripoff, and the ISOM statue might be a better choice, and oh, it's called Young ISOM, so he must have lost a lawsuit, and even though it was a mutual understanding, and obviously from the words of Eric July, no one lost, but it seems to me people like good old Smug Davis want to sit here and do the whole trying to mock Eric July. As it seems to me that you can't get deals like this, and neither can EvS, and y'all just sit here and coping and seething and obviously watching what Eric is doing at all times because that's all you know how to do nowadays, rather than just simply ignoring it and working on your own stuff just like he does. So you go on to say, remember guys, quote unquote Sonic makes chili dogs and the Sonic the Hedgehog runs fast and eats chili dogs, but it's funny that you think that he lost the lawsuit and he had to change the name to Young ISOM. That's not how that works. Welcome, quote unquote, Young ISOM. The lesson here is do not take what YouTubers say as the gospel truth. Okay, so then we won't take what you say as gospel truth, as you probably think you're the greatest indie artist out there, which you're not. But I will always say that your writing is pretty good and your art's pretty good. But at the same time, I'm not supporting Glorious Rex 3 because I don't care. I think you're a garbage human being and you're smug as heck. But people do ask if it's good. Is it a step up from McFarlane? I'm going to say no. McFarlane is obviously better. They've been in the business probably longer than Iron Studios, most likely. But you have people like this saying $100 says he had to change the name to Young ISOM due to the ISOM lawsuit. And, of course, Cinematic XP, shout out to him, says, oh, it's easy money, direct from Eric July. As I've said for the last year, I'm going to work on another property with an arc after ISOM 3. Concludes the ill-advised arc. Once I finish the arc on the new property, I'll more than likely jump back to ISOM number 4. There were some very enthusiastic women that assumed otherwise, which may have led to some confusion, but ISOM isn't going anywhere in name or title. So which I say, looks like he has to pay up. These clowns don't understand that the cover is based on a book wherein ISOM was younger, considering it presented why he quit. It's just further proof that these guys don't read the comics they cry about or care about the words coming from Eric. Because that's actually how this always goes. And I also had this response for this clown, saying, all things considered, at least it's based on a cover from an artist people actually cared to buy. You would know why it's called Young ISOM if you actually read the book, rather than presenting a self-owned, where you paid $100 for your cover just to tear it off as a way to virtue signal. Because that's what you actually did. You cried about getting a commission from Eric to create a cover for ISOM number 2, cover C, the foil and emboss cover that cost $100. Then you complained that, oh, why is it $100 and now it's apparently worthless even though it was never resold since it was sold during the ISOM 2 campaign, and you decided to go ahead and buy it, complained about that you had to buy it while you're getting a commission, and then you decided to do a stream and then rip the cover off. So all you really did there was self-own yourself by making that cover more valuable because you destroyed one of the 5,000 of those covers that exist. So it's funny to me how much you cope so much. Cope begins. Now the argument is that no one bought the Yaira statue, so Eric July released a lower quality statue for ISOM. No, it's called multiple deals. You can get deals from McFarlane, which has obviously a bigger name than Iron Studios. It always will. And you could make a cheaper option for people that can't buy the Yaira statue, and you can see what people would rather spend. It's kind of like feeling the market out for the statue market, because obviously not everyone is involved with the statue market. People are more involved in the comic market. So he says, lol, no one bought his sideshow equivalent Yaira statue, the statue that came from McFarlane Toys. You're obviously coping, and EvS coped about it for a good old live stream of Trashcast about the McFarlane deal. So he cut the number in half, the number that was never produced, even though, the number that was never produced. Yes, he said it's not going to be less than 500 or over 1050, but he never actually produced the number itself for how many Yaira statues were actually made, and I don't think he'll give that number until it goes into full production, which I think he recently did. And dropped the production cost by over 60% by switching to an inferior quality statue company for his flagship character, no less, even though both statues are both made of resin. Make it make sense, my dude. Both statues are made of resin, but somehow the quality dipped. Iron Studios typically uses resin for a majority of their statues. And sometimes they use polystone, which I made the mistake of saying PVC, but I found that it was actually made of resin, metal, and polystone. Iron Studios makes great quality stuff. I asked this individual what the issue was. He says they make okay quality stuff. He never really presents what he actually owns, so I don't know how he would actually know that. I don't think there's an issue. It's a much better deal than the Yaira statue if you're a Ripperverse fan. Depends on who you ask. If anything, it makes the Yaira statue look like a ripoff. Same material, only slightly smaller in scale and almost half the price. So I presented him with, of course, this. I said, tell me you don't know anything about the statue market without telling me you don't know anything about the statue market. Both of these are made of resin, which is, I showed Yaira and I showed Spawn. So both Yaira and Spawn are both made of resin. They're around the same price and around the same height as far as the statue height goes. Both of these are made of resin. Same price, same size. I guess Spawn is also a ripoff because it's made of resin. Iron Studio statues are around the same price point as ISOM. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man was 1/8 scale, made of resin for around $225 plus shipping. It was only 7 inches tall. Thundercats Lion-O was $250, made of polystone. ISOM costs slightly more than Spider-Man and is taller in scale. So they're around the price range. They're pretty much around the same price range, except when it comes to ISOM, you buy it directly from Ripperverse, so he gets majority of the money. So what are we talking about here? Like, this is the Lion-O I own, which costs $250. This is the Tiger I own, and this is the Wily Cat I own. I missed out on Chitara and Panthro, but I did get these three, as well as getting Mumra and I believe Vulture Man. So this was 16.9 inches because of the sword. Probably take the sword off, it probably goes down about 3 inches. But it's also interesting to me how this clown EvS says, oh, it looks good, and then goes, it's a nice statue of ISOM getting ready to fall on a car again, even though the statue is based on ISOM 2 and he fell on the car in ISOM 1. And this is the same type of clown who will sit here and say, well, oh, this scene isn't iconic, and yet you continue to talk about it as if it's iconic. It's interesting to me how that works. How you could sit here and talk all the crap you want while you sit up here and create covers for Battle Brick Road 2 for Eric Weathers, but you can't finish your own projects. But, this is just the beginning of all the coping and seething. I can't wait to see what some clown like Teasel Spencer will say, or the Moistback would say, something like that. So it just doesn't make sense why it matters to these people so much, what Eric decides to do. And it's like these guys just continue to pocket watch, continue to just look at everything and comb through everything he does, because this is, of course, something that he's said in the past, that they'll continue to comb through every single facet of his company because they have literally no life and they have nothing else going on in it. So I'll continue to report on the coping and seething with this one. So thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit the like button. Comment below how you feel about all this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all, that way you get a notification anytime I post a new video or live stream. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.